played for Joe Paterno.
Meeting like the myth, the legend kind of thing. You know what I mean? You have your Joe Paternos, your Bobby Bowdens, your Nick Sabans, Les Miles, those kind of guys. And when you see them in person, you're like, man, it's just like an aura that they have.
But runs down the floor, and then I think he either got a dunk or like an and one coming off maybe like a pick and roll or something. But it was awesome to see like how he's really maturing and completing as a player.
Obviously doesn't have the accolades that Tom Brady does, but we're pretty much getting a Tom Brady, when he went to the Bucs. That's what's happening. We're getting a guy who's at the end of his career.
Attitude with dude, we thought Big Ben was a diva. There is no one probably in this NFL world that you can think of that would probably match what Aaron Rodgers brings when it comes to being a diva.
You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mark Lesko Podcast. Joined by Jared Miller once again. Talk some topics. Pretty much just wanted to cover the draft and everything that happened there. The Steelers, as I've said before, trying to get Jared to do his own show at some point, which would be great. He's passionate about it. Pirates too. He does that on Facebook. We'll talk a little bit about the Steelers, Jared. I don't want to talk about it too much because I just don't want to. But yeah, I would rather not talk about that too much. So we're going to talk about a few different topics. But yeah, how you doing, man?
Oh, doing great, bud. The draft, Omar Khan does it again. Third straight year, bringing out the magic. Derek Harmon, first round draft pick, man. I could not have asked for a better defensive tackle. Now, Kenneth Grant and then, what was the other guy? Walter Nolan. Yeah, they were off the board. And then I saw that Derek Harmon was available, and I know they were going to go either running back or defensive tackle. And I'm like, thank you for getting that guy. That's absolutely what they need. That is a huge guy to have in the middle of that field for you. Basically passing the torch from Cam Hayward to now to Derek Harmon. It's just going to be a great, great transition. I very much appreciate what they are trying to build. But here's the thing about the draft. Yes, I do very much love that Caleb Johnson that was probably the biggest one for me. I love Derek Harmon as the choice for the first round, but for me, the pick of the draft has to be Caleb Johnson. Running back for Iowa, the dude was projected to be like a 50th pick, in the 50s area for the draft, and he went all the way to the 83rd pick. I mean, that is insane how he was able to stay there the whole time and for us to go and get him. I think Denver was talking about taking him, and it didn't happen. And when we said we got him, yes, I'm like, that is Najee Harris again, but with a little more zip. Him and Jaylen Warren, that's a fantastic combination. I cannot wait to see what and they talk about, what's his name, Gainwell from Philadelphia. He's they're talking about how he's going to be a punt return mostly, but they're also going to use him as running back. It's pretty set for the running back room, for the wide receiver. I mean, DK Metcalf is essentially a second round pick. That's what you gave up. And that is the greatest surprise to know that is going to be your tangent between Metcalf, Pickens, and now it looks like Robert Woods. They acquired him on a 1-year deal. I saw that. He's 33 years old. I don't know if that's the smartest way to go because, again, Calvin Austin seemed like he was going to be your wide receiver 3. Either way, that Wood is a Super Bowl winning wide receiver, so it's not like the dude is completely out of it. So he's got a lot of talent. Love what I see from that. And you've got that traditional setup with Darnell and Pat. I mean, the tight end room is set. So it's really going to come down to, is the O-line going to be the best version this coming season? And there's no other option. There really isn't. And listen, I know I was a little skeptic. I know I've put my 2 cents in time and time again. But if Rodgers does eventually make his decision to come and he is a Steeler, I mean, it's the option it's going to be. So
Yeah,
I
Jared,
personally think,
when are you going to start your own show on here for this?
we're talking probably maybe by training camp sometime in the summer. Maybe we can discuss getting ready for this season. Dude,
So you
I'll
wouldn't
tell you
want
this.
to come on here and talk about this weekly, huh?
I would very much like that, bud, but at the same time, I'm kind of reserving myself for what they do this season, honestly, because if they mess up this offensive scheme with all these options and all these great picks, if they mess up another season and they don't win a playoff game, dude, there's no point. There's really no point in covering this team, because what else are you going to talk about? It just seems like it
I
just
don't know.
inserts the same problems every single year. We have great names, but they don't work out. These guys are brought in to be great coordinators, but they don't pan out. Mike Tomlin has been here this whole time, and no one else seems to think that's the problem, but it just seems to always be the problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
So,
it's just a repeat, bud. And as much as
Yep.
I would love to have my own show where I say the same thing over and over again, that I don't know. I personally think I would have better use of my time just being an angry person that just knows they could be better, and they're choosing not to. Believe me, bud, the
Yeah,
entire
so-
city of Pittsburgh is feeling this. It's not just with the Steelers, it's everything.
Yep. Yeah, I'll just give my thoughts on the Steelers real quick, and then we'll just move on. I just don't. But yeah, they had another draft that they did, that they always do. It was. I mean, of course, they went D tackle the first round. They always do that. They got Will Howard.
Yep.
Of course. They got Jack Sawyer, of course. That was, it's just so predictable. They got a running back from Iowa, got a D tackle from Iowa. They got Mark Bruner's son or nephew, whatever.
Wyatt Black was the other name I remember seeing.
Yeah, they didn't get
Black.
They didn't get Shedeur Sanders, which is good. Now, I think Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Steelers. He's a weirdo, but he's coming to the Steelers. And which I think he will. If he doesn't, then like I said, man, like even last year, I really didn't watch them that much. I don't really watch the NFL that much in general. They've really turned me away because of how political they got. They've turned a lot of people away, the NFL, as a product.
Yeah.
But if he comes to the Steelers, that'd be great. But if he doesn't, like, they're totally screwed. Mason Rudolph. I would rather see Paul Skeens as the quarterback than Mason Rudolph, honestly. That's so bad. But anyway, yeah. But I think Aaron Rodgers will come, and I think he can help them win. That's it. That's it. Like, that's my final point, is I think he can help them win. So I don't care about drama. It affects me zero. It's not going to change anything about my life. As long as they win, they win. That's it. And he can make them a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. And then next year, if they don't get, because I've heard that Arch Manning may not come out for the draft next year. The person that said that, I think it's about half a moron, because I think he will, because he's going to be the first pick, I think. In which he's looking at $50 million if he comes out. And he's the highest paid college player right now, $6 million. I think he's the highest paid college athlete. But I think it's $6.7 million. So, at the end of the day, like, that's a lot of money, but he can still make more as the first overall pick. But if they don't get like an Arch Manning or Drew Aller, someone who's like seems to be proven, then I'm convinced that they're like being paid to just tank this franchise. Mike Tomlin should already be gone, but
yeah. But let's put it in this perspective, though. You said about Drew Aller. If, again, we're just painting the positive as we can picture, say Penn State wins the national championship this year by some sheer miracle. I mean, I want to see it happen, and I say it because it could possibly happen. Could you imagine that? If Drew Aller and them win the national championship, he goes into the draft and the Steelers pick him, we will have two guys that are back-to-back national championship quarterbacks on our roster. How crazy would that be? That would be amazing. Drew Aller and Will Johnson.
Yeah, I want to see Drew Aller with like some good coaching too. Franklin, dude, to me it's so obvious. I have Brett on and Matt from Penn State jerseys yesterday. We have different views on some things, which it is what it is. It's sports.
Yeah.
To me, it's obvious. Like Franklin is not. He's just not that great of a coach. He's a horrible game day coach. The fact that Drew Aller is not more confident and he's not farther ahead right now is to me, it's on the head coach, first of all. Yesterday we talked about like not scoring a touchdown against Ohio State, this and that. And I said, that falls on the head coach. And they said, well, he trusts in his OC to get it done. It's like, okay, well, he wasn't. So he needs to step in as a head coach, which he does not. Because quite frankly, when it comes to game day coaching, it's either one or the other or both. He's horrible at game day coaching. He doesn't know what he's doing. So it's one of those two or both. The fact that Drew Aller has not progressed more is pretty pathetic on his end too. And then the run game, the fact that Nick Singleton had this breakout freshman season and he hasn't really been the same since. Katron's been pretty consistent. And we can just talk about Penn State too, Jared. But
yes, sir. Yeah, please do. I love it.
Yeah, like defense. They've been pretty good. Tom Allen wasn't the best hire. That was some bad defense last year compared to Manny Diaz. And then we have Jim Knowles coming in. It's kind of one of those you can't beat him, join him type things. There's been 2 times in Kotelnicki's career where he scored less than 17 points. And the 2 times that happened was against Jim Knowles in his whole career. So that's a good addition.
Yes.
But the fact that Drew Aller – but long story short, he's going to come on to an NFL team, hopefully get drafted high, and he's going to get some good coaching. I mean, he's going to walk into like a hopefully Steelers coaching situation, or I just hope he doesn't go to – I think no matter who it is really in the NFL, he's going to be better off. But if he goes into especially the Steelers, if Mike Tomlin is still there, Mike Tomlin's going to coach him up well, whoever his staff is, because the Steelers develop talent. At least 5 of our guys this year in the draft are going to be on the field at some point significantly. That always happens. So we'll see. We'll see it. But if they don't get a quarterback next year in the draft, and I'm talking like they don't trade up and get one, which I think they will because they didn't do it this year, then I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what their plan is unless they go out and get like a Pat Mahomes in free agency. You know what I mean? What are they doing? Which obviously will never happen, but what are they doing? I mean, so.
Listen, you can try to figure out any game plan for Tomlin, but what we can say for certain, he does not really do a great job at the 3 to 5 years down the road picture. He never really does that. He's kind of always in the moment, like practically in the game, he's never really even talking about a season. He's just constantly doing that, 1 week mentality. Then we work for next week. We're focused on this week, and then next week, and then it's this week. And so I feel like I had a great analogy. Someone once said, the other day when I was at work, someone was talking about GMs and the head coach, like, who has more say over what? And I feel like when you look at the NFL draft, I always feel like the GM's job is like, it's like a car lot. Like every NFL team is a car lot, and the GM's job is to bring in the merchandise for your lot. And the coach is the guy who's the salesman. Like, you can bring all these really good looking cars in, and it's just the head coach's job to start selling them out to the public. And I felt like, Kenny Pickett, when you drafted him, I felt like, was that really Kevin Colbert basically just giving Mike Tomlin a Pinto and saying, have fun? Like, I just feel like it really does tell you what relationship that you must have between a GM and a head coach. And I feel like Penn State, that's really also the same thing with the athletic coordinator or the athletic director. The AD and the head coach really have to get on the same page with what they're doing. And again, we acquired the defensive coordinator for the Ohio State. When I saw that, I went, here we go, man. Like, this is truly them making the move, saying, if we're not winning now, we never will. Because what more can you ask to bring in a guy like him and say, we're not trying to be competitive. We're not trying to go for the whole thing. And it's really now seeing all the recruits we're getting, wide receiving room, the guy from Syracuse. If we cannot win with the players we've acquired, if Drew Aller cannot look better with these names, on top of the tangent of Singleton and Allen, what more there's no way we're ever winning. If we don't do it with this now, we're never going to.
It'll never happen. Yep,
nope.
100%. Yeah, Jared, you always have good Penn State takes. Yeah, it'll never happen, man. It'll never happen. There's no way on God's green earth it will ever happen if it doesn't happen this year, unless they get really lucky. Like in 2016, right? They got lucky. They got 100% lucky.
Very, very.
No other way to put it. They got extremely lucky. Moorhead is who I credit mainly for that successful season. For everything that happened with his efficiency on offense.
Yeah,
they were just on a roll, an absolute
roll. I loved him as the offensive coordinator. I thought he was such a great acquire for them. And when he left, you saw the drop off really with the offensive stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Penn State is always going to have two things that they have really got down pat: running back and tight end. It doesn't matter if they can run the ball. It doesn't matter if they can catch it as well, or the tight end is just a great, scheme with whatever they do on the outside, whatever they go down the field. Like, they have great names that come in for those positions. Now, we've never had a name like Drew Aller, like a 5-star recruit like that. And I just feel like once he came in, nothing against the wide receiving core that we got, but you never heard the names. You never saw those associations where, they're top 50, top 100. These guys are going to the NFL. Nothing about like Lambert Smith or Clifford or any guys like that. I very much appreciated their contributions, but they're just not those names. And now we've got them.
Right.
Come on. Yeah. Like, if this is not the year to get pumped up, how could it not be?
Yeah, we have 3 guys: Kyron Hudson, Devontae Ross, and now Trevor Pena. 3 guys. I mean, you think of good teams at Penn State, Jared. I mean, you go back to 94, you had Bobby Ingram. 97, you had Joe Jaravicius.
Yep.
2016, you had Godwin, you had Deshaun Hamilton, you had Gesicki.
Hey, don't forget 08. Don't forget 08 with the whole. Yes, with Derek Williams, Jordan Norwood, Deion Butler. That was phenomenal offensive stuff.
Yeah. 2003, you had, they had a decent season. That was, or 2002, 2003. Yeah, 2002, that was like Brian Johnson, Michael Robinson, and then Tony Johnson. And then 2005, Derek Williams, Deion Butler, Jordan Norwood. 08. Well, they had Terrell Gold on that team too, who I had as a coach
Yeah.
at Penn State. He was a really cool guy. And then in 08, you had Derek Williams, Deion Butler, Jordan Norwood. You had Derek Moy, you had Justin Brown. And then in, 16, like I said, and then even like recently, like KJ Hamler, Deshaun Hamilton, you had all these guys on the same team.
Yep.
Penn State, when they're good, they've always had those solidified name receivers. You knew their names. We
Yes.
have not had that. I mean, who recently has for Penn State receiver as a Penn State receiver? Who's the last receiver that was really good? It was like
Dotson?
Jahan Dotson, right?
Yeah. He went first
it.
round, didn't he, to the Commanders?
Yes.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because he was like Derek Williams. He was that kind of athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't had a solidified receiver as of late, and I think this is the year that they can really do that. But if they don't, like you said, man, like because I asked Brett and Matt last night, I said, so if they don't get it done this year, because Jared, you were on this show after the Notre Dame game. Brett and I were going at it.
Yes.
And obviously, that's sports talk.
Yep.
That's what it is. Brett knows that. We're still buds regardless. We he said it was the receivers, and I said I think that's an excuse. So if they don't win it all this year, what's going to be said afterwards? Because they have everything. Matt said the only way they don't is if they're unhealthy. I mean, injuries, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. But yeah, I mean, what's the excuse after this year if they don't win it all? I think you really, as a fan, like for example, Brett, I think what he'll do is he'll say, "Man, this isn't going to happen."
No.
I think he will say that. You know what I mean? Because Brett's
Yep.
not delusional. Brett's just Brett's very positive. Brett's a optimist when it comes to Penn State.
Yes, he is.
So, which that's how you should be. I'm not like that. So
we've had Steelers talk, but I do know that you're realistic.
Yeah. I mean, what's the excuse going to be, Jared? Is there going to be an excuse? I mean, what's the answer then?
But it's like when you look at the whole scope of like the NIL and who gets paid more, like we can go down so many rabbit holes. Like the expansion of the Big Ten, you got to deal with like the tougher, West Coast travel, like all the different back and forth they got to do. I mean, maybe that were the wear and tear on you. There's so many things, but in the end, what has always been the case with national championship teams is it's all on who built the entire layout for the success. That's really where it comes down to. Like when we talk about Ryan Day losing to Michigan, it is that thing where you say something bad about the Steelers back in the day. In the 2000s, when you say, "Oh, the Steelers had this record, they were 8-8, they were 9 or that they were 500." And once you get in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah. As soon as you get in the playoffs, you're a totally different team. It's 0-0. Anything is possible at that point. We proved that because we got to the semifinals, regardless of our schedule. That's another thing. You got to also think about how the brackets are going to be changed differently at the end of the season, like how the playoffs are going to look. We don't know who we're going to be facing. Is it going to be a bye week and then the number 4 team, or is it going to be some setup where we have the toughest road to the championship? Like that's another thing. We could face the 3 toughest teams to get all the way. I can say with complete certainty that this is the most talented team James Franklin's ever had under his belt.
Oh,
it's one thing for you to have all the recruits that you have, and then on top of the transfer portal, come on. Like, this is basically everything coming into play. Like, you think about, how do you want to say it? Like, when you're building a city, when you're a little kid and you have like all the forts and all the different things, like when you have the Lego building and all that stuff, like you've got it all. Like everything is built up to the scale. You've got the prettiest looking landscape that you have. If you can't make anybody convinced that you're ready to do something, It never will happen. And it will all truly fall on probably James Franklin and anyone who is pretty much a coach. That's just where I think it goes to. If you're talking about excuses, it's, dude, you've had how many opportunities? This didn't happen because you didn't have the right connections, the recruits. Like, again, the transfer portal, you lost guys, injuries. Again, we've heard all the excuses for how many years now? And I feel like if we're going to say what went wrong, it will be because you said it, game day coach ain't him.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. All right. So you just said about us how this probably being the most talented team. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find this article. Yeah, there we
Sure,
go.
bud.
All right. So yes, this is by far, and again, like this is something that we know. That this is one thing that I know particularly is history of Penn State football. A lot of it. I don't know all of it, but I know a lot of it. There's certain guys, they could go back and say who the quarterback was in like 1953, stuff like that. That's not me. But, I know a lot of – I've been watching it my whole life, 32 years old. Been watching it my whole life. So, you say about us having the most talented roster. This is frankly the most talented roster. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So, you go back to – gosh darn it. The heck am I doing? So you go back to like 05, right?
Yeah.
Still didn't have as much talent as we have right now. Now, Franklin, for the thing with me for Franklin is he gets all these talented guys, these 5-star guys. And what does it mean? They don't beat Ohio State. They don't beat Michigan. They lose to Notre Dame. Dude, that's inexcusable for me, losing to Notre Dame.
Right.
Because they didn't have even close to as much talent as we did.
No.
They still lost. Joe, he would get, okay, so 05, right?
Yeah.
He had Derek Williams. I think he was the number one player in his class. Then he had Deion Butler, a walk-on. Jordan Norwood, a walk-on. Michael Robinson, pretty highly touted athlete. Wasn't even a quarterback when he came to Penn State. He played everything.
He did.
Besides like Dan Connor and Paul Posluszny, you didn't really have too many guys that were highly touted as recruits. Joe made them into what they were. Joe took Kajana Carter, a 3-star linebacker, into a second in the Heisman voting as a running back. Mark Rubin, starting safety, started as a receiver. Michael Robinson started as like a running back, and he ended up being like a good quarterback because he was just a phenomenal athlete.
Yes.
And, you take like a Tyler Warren, 3-star guy, turned into probably the best tight end ever at Penn State, one of the best tight ends ever in college football. He's got to be like top 5 all time.
Dude, he's going to turn the Colts team alone into a team that is going to be competitive in the AFC South or whatever that is. It? Yeah, the AFC South. They're going to be a great team because of Tyler Warren. Absolutely.
Well, dude, as a Penn State fan, if you're not already a Bears fan, you need to hope that they absolutely suck forever because they took Loveland over Warren. First of all,
that's insane.
And then they get Luther Burden, dude. They could have Keenan Allen. I think he's still in the Bears. They could have
I think he left.
Did he? Okay, so they have Rome Odunze. They could have Tyler Warren, Luther Burden, all in the same team with Caleb Williams, and I think they have like a decent running back also. Are you kidding me right now? And I don't like Caleb Williams. I think he's overrated. But my God, talk about weapons.
But
Tyler
the NFC
Warren would have been a phenomenal pick.
Right. Well, dude, the NFC North, it's all about either the Packers or the Lions right now. Yeah, we're living in a world where the Lions look like Super Bowl contenders every year now for the past 3 years. We're definitely living in new territory where you're looking at Chicago 20 years ago always being a premier team or being at least competitive, and they have not been that ever since Jay Cutler. I mean, it's been one of the most unique situations. And again, you talk about how many opportunities they've had to build, and they just have not done anything. They have completely fired the arrow backwards in their quiver Like that's just what they've been doing. So it's very difficult in the NFL to know why teams do what they do, but Tyler Warren, I was like, oh my gosh, the Colts just became like maybe one of from the worst team in that division to maybe a contender with the Texans. This is going to be an interesting season, I think, for them because again, when all it takes is one guy. It takes one guy for you to really turn your team around, and that's a great piece to have. He will be doing so much for their playbook. I can only imagine what the offensive coordinator is coming up with right now for Indianapolis.
Absolutely, man. But to keep on our Penn State topic a little bit, Texas is number one. Manning area is finally here. They spent $40 million in NIL, which is insane. Ohio State is number two. They deserve to be. I thought they'd be number one. Texas should be one, but Ohio State should be two.
Yeah.
If not higher, because they are former champions. They have, I think. Is it Julian Sayin? Wait, who am I thinking? Who's the Ohio State quarterback next year? I'm going to look it up real quick. Yep. So, Julian Sayin, right? Yeah, Julian Sayin, who I believe is one of the guys that's like, I think he was like the number one in his class or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. Julian Sayin, 247. He's 5-star, of course.
Yep.
Number 3 QB in the class, number 1 in California, number 20 overall. So that's their quarterback coming back. So yeah. Georgia is number 3. They have a decent quarterback coming in, Stockton, and then Penn State's 4, right? Okay, so just to read this real quick, it's an all-in year for Penn State coming off an appearance in the college football semifinals under James Franklin. Drew Aller, a third-year starter, returns and will have a pair of 1,000-yard rushers in Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. They added a receiver in Trevor Pena. Denai, A.J. Harris coming back under Jim Knowles. Can Penn State follow Michigan, Ohio State's path to program's first national title since 1986? Man, just to see that is kind of, my dad, he was a senior when they won last. He's almost 60 years old.
Dude, you and I were not born yet. I was not born the last time Penn State won a national championship.
Yeah, he was a senior at Penn State when they won. I wasn't even a twinkle in the eye.
See the stuff in my beard? It's like I've been alive longer, like as long as they have not had a championship. And the fact that I have this in my, and they have not smelled a national championship since is insane.
Notre Dame, number 5, of course, they're always overrated. I don't get it, man.
See, that's the thing. I was curious where Notre Dame was after this because it was like, are they even in the top 10? Like,
dude, they're above Oregon, the former Big Ten champion.
Aren't they like the richest NIL team? Like, don't they spend a lot of money on their
Oregon?
Yes.
It's I believe it's like it's Texas, Ohio State. I think Oregon's up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Clemson. Okay, I get it. Klubnik's coming back. Bama, I guess.
Always
LSU.
Bama.
LSU, Brian Kelly, he gets a lot of hate. I like Brian Kelly, but he's one of those guys that constantly is just, Illinois.
He's always relevant. I mean, it's true.
Holy crap.
Illinois?
Yeah, you see that?
I did see that.
Did I read this wrong?
You did read that right.
College football rankings. Okay, so this is the college football rankings. All right, Illinois is 10.
Wow. Over Michigan? Wow.
Brett Bielema, they're good there. Florida, I don't get that. Miami, okay. I mean, we'll see who their quarterback is. South Carolina, they have supposedly one of the best quarterbacks coming back. Arizona State, I get that. Ole Miss, okay. BYU, Michigan, I think Michigan should be higher. They have Bryce Underwood.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they should be. I think they'll beat Ohio State again this year, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I mean,
that's just so crazy. You said Michigan 18 and then Illinois 10. Like that. What?
I know.
Talk
Yeah,
about
that's
bizarre
crazy. I
world.
did not know that. But here's the
No.
thing, okay? Like Brett and Matt said that, Harbaugh's a cheater, Michigan cheated, they're going to get sanctions. I don't know if they're getting more sanctions. Apparently they are. I have not heard that.
I've not heard anything either.
But here's the thing, man. Okay, so let's say they did cheat. All right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you they're not the first ones to do it. There's been other teams that have done it. I'm sure Ohio State has done it.
Alabama?
Someone at Michigan said they got the idea from Ohio State, okay?
Correct.
First of all. All right, that's like, okay, so like Ohio State, any criticism they have for Michigan is like, if someone commits a crime and their parents are like saying something and then you believe them, it's like they're their parents. They're going to stick up for them. Or it's like the person that was the victim of the crime, they're saying something against them. It's like, well, of course they're going to say that.
Right.
Their Ohio State's rival is Michigan. Of course, whatever they say, you just got to like not listen to, because they're going to say a Michigan player, killed one of their fans or something. They'll say anything. It's that bitter of a rivalry. So of course they're going to say that. But I've heard that Michigan got the idea from Ohio State. I don't know what happened. I don't care. They've beaten Ohio State 4 years in a row. That's beautiful.
Yes, it
I
is.
love it. Even if they cheated against us, man, I don't even care. It's like, okay, be better then. Beat them.
Right.
Beat them when they're cheating. That's it. Like the tattoo thing at Ohio State, like the that's happened before, for sure, with Terrell Pryor. Now with Urban Meyer and that coach Zach Smith and the allegations against him, dude, that has happened so many other times in other programs. You never hear about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff, unfortunately, happens way more than you think. So this whole like Michigan cheated. All right, well, okay, be good enough to beat them. Like it is what it is. It's not like they were juicing their players or, they were like trying to break the other players' legs in the games and like trying to injure people, and they're being paid to injure people like the Saints were doing, stuff like that. There's worse things. All right.
Yes.
If you cheat, you get caught, then you need to pay the price. But it's like, has anyone else done this? Probably yes. So that's my whole deal with that. But Michigan, they're number 16. BYU, Tennessee. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Penn State has always had their issues with those big teams, Ohio State, Michigan, and it's always on coaching. Like we always talk about what it comes down to. And again, Jim Harbaugh, Ryan Day, and then you have James Franklin. And again, why does it always come back to coaching? Because again, you have to have everything ready. You have to have an answer for why things aren't going. And dude, it just seems like game management and just play calling is always the thing that just makes you just go, why? What is it about that idea that made you think was going to be the best way to handle that? Like I've watched many a times where, you watch the guy step back and he throws the ball and it's like, you're throwing it to who instead of Tyler Warren? Like why? Like I'm not saying you have double coverage and you can't figure it out easily, but that's the thing. If it's the best player, get the ball to them. Like don't try to do a trick play or try to, fool anyone. Because again, Lambert Smith, great name, but you have all the other guys, cornerbacks, and anybody on the defense that's just going to figure them out so quickly. Like that's the thing about anybody who plays Penn State. Like, it seems like their defensive coordinating and game planning is just ready for any trick play that goes on. And I don't get why they try to be clever over what would work. That I don't know why it's always got to be this idea, this great out of nowhere Houdini thing that's like, oh man, look at us and how impressive we were with this plan. And how many times does it work? Like 1 out of 15? Every 15 plays, I think the one time they do it, it works. Like the one play that comes to mind is the USC game where they had that one trick motion and the ball went down to Tyler Warren in the end zone. He jumps up and had to go 8 feet in the air to catch that, but still came down with it. It was a brilliant play. I was so fooled. I couldn't believe what I saw. It was a great execution. And again, those plays happen like once a season. So I very much feel like we've got to stop having this idea that we have to be that clever or we have to do something clever and just go at them. Like, just try to be the better team. Like, just show you got the bigger guys. Just push them down, maul them over, get into the end zone in some way, shape, or form. Like, I feel like that's what we've been missing. I just feel like we're so conservative when it comes to big moments that it's like we just don't think we're going to execute. And that's always been our downfall. I just feel like we get timid in the big moment and they always expose it. Like, we had every opportunity in the Ohio State game. That game will just always be in my head where it's just like, why could we not win in that game? Yeah. We were right there the whole time and we just never had a moment. And they always knew what to do. They always knew how to keep us on the sideline. And it just was bad. So I know that Penn State, again, has all the tools, getting ready to go, have great coaching. There's just no excuses after this. It's like you would basically have dismantle Penn State athletics in general if this does not go down. If they're not at least in the championship game, I feel like this would be a complete loss this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, it's going to be heartbreaking, man. Like, unless we go there and at least put up a very, very, very good fight, I won't be satisfied. I mean, there's no reason why they should not win this year. Matt and Brett, they said that they can overcome the fact that Texas just spent $35-40 million.
Yep.
They can overcome that, which I agree. But because no matter what, man, like, we have last year, in my opinion, we had the most talented team in the country. This year, we're up there for sure. In terms of talent. So, like, again, like, Joe made players out of nothing. Franklin gets these highly touted players because he's good at recruiting, but they don't seem to always, like Abdul Carter, man, 3rd overall pick, freak of an athlete, didn't even beat Notre Dame, man.
Yeah.
That guy didn't even play in a national title game.
Nope.
You had he didn't even win any awards, I don't think. And then you have like Saquon Barkley. That guy wasn't in the Heisman running.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like 2017, all of these, we had so many expectations going into that season. Not one guy on our team won an award at the end of the year. Like, I'm talking like Trace and Saquon both could have been in the Heisman running if they played well. Gesicki could have been the best tight end. Like, there were so many guys. I think even Parsons wasn't there yet, I don't think. But there were so many guys that, again, Micah Parsons, like, maybe Hall of Famer in the NFL, never played in a national title game.
Nope.
Played in a New Year's Six, but yeah, it's just like, what? Yeah, it needs to happen this year. But Jared, I'm gonna hop on to. We got a couple more topics, and then we'll jump off.
Okay.
So, Shedeur Sanders, just talk about that and the draft. Abdul goes 3, Warren goes 14. which is cool.
Yeah.
Steelers get a defensive tackle. So Shedeur Sanders drops to the 5th round. That was a huge topic of discussion. Just my thoughts on it. He was, from the stories of his draft interviews, we'll start there. He handled them like an idiot. Like he couldn't have been worse with his pre-draft interviews. He was arrogant. He didn't know, they had him on the whiteboard. He didn't know that stuff. I guess the only thing he knew was like certain personnel and like a spread formation. That's all he knew. He was like had his headphones in. He was listening to music. He was FaceTiming his friends during NFL meetings. And this is coming from guys that I've listened to on podcasts that have their own shows and like they play to Colorado. They're close to the program. He said, if you don't like me, don't draft me. Like he couldn't have been worse.
Yeah.
And my conclusion is that Shedeur Sanders, talented, nowhere near his dad. No one is really near his dad.
No.
This is a mortal. Shedeur is mortal. His dad is immortal. His dad is one of the best athletes to ever walk the face of the earth on any level of any sport. He is not. Shedeur is not. Okay. He went into his draft process like his dad did, but he's not good enough to do that. First of all, he's a quarterback. You can't act like that.
Nope.
I don't know if Dion would have been drafted as a quarterback if he was a quarterback. Probably. I don't know. Back then, that was in 89, I think.
Yes.
Like they took Green Bay took that Tony Mandarich guy over Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, like so many guys. Like they took, instead of those guys, they took Tony Mandarich instead. All right, this guy. Okay, it's multifaceted. The podcasts I've listened to, they say it's Deion's fault, which I kind of agree with. All right, Deion Sanders is so confident in himself that he thinks his son is the same thing. Okay, Deion's always been confident. He's never been anything but confident, and most of the time he's been right. All right, he thought that I can just be like this. My son can be like this. He's good enough. He said he was going to be like a top 5 pick like 2 years ago. He said him and Travis Hunter were going to be like top 5. Dude, you can't be like your dad, and your dad can't think you should be like that because you're not as good. You're not even close to as good. I would never want him on my NFL team. He's not good. I don't know if he's even going to make a team. Dude, they drafted Dylan Gabriel and him. All right. And they got Deshaun Watson. They got Kenny Pickett. And then they got like 5 quarterbacks, dude. He might not even make the team.
Yep.
And he was supposed to be Mel Kiper's number 1 pick. Mel Kiper showing a Shedeur Sanders highlight right after Cam Ward gets drafted number 1. Like that has anything to do with Cam Ward being taken number 1. It doesn't. That was shameful. But hey, it is what it is. I hope it humbles him and his dad. So,
I mean, history has shown that it doesn't. You say humble him. I mean, history has shown it doesn't. They are always going to have in their minds that they are the best. You have to. I mean, anyone who plays a sport, when you start at the bottom, when you do the Pop Warner, when you do then middle school, high school, college, the NFL, like all the levels, I mean, you just got to think you're the best. And when you have Deion Sanders, like, I think that guy owns the title outside of maybe Terrell Owens as the biggest diva in the history of the sport. I mean, it's a close one, but I would put probably Deion over Terrell because he's a little older. So I think he owns that. So, but again, he backed it up. Like, that's the thing. You can't knock Deion Sanders because everything he said about himself, he did make happen. He really did.
Yeah.
He was always a champion.
Guy that supposedly, when he went to the combine, he drove up, went into the stadium, ran a 4.1, ran out of the stadium, got in the car, and left. He didn't even know his time. That's how good he was.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean, dude,
it's like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Deion Sanders, Tom Brady, Pele. Like 5 people right there that they're the best ever.
Right. They certainly are the names. They certainly, yes. I mean, so for you to have a child then goes into the same profession as you, I mean, let's face it, we've seen many TV shows, and HBO does a great job with those kind of, like Succession is the one that comes to mind right now, where it's like your father built this empire and you have these children that are going to take over. No, they're not really, because I'm the only one who knows how to do what I do, but I also have to keep it, in the family. Like, I see like those types of shows all the time. And that just seems like we're living that type of thing with the NFL right now, like with him. And Shedeur, yes, you can stamp it that he has every Colorado record. Man, I mean, yes, it's nice to know that the Big 12 will be recognized in that regard. But, I mean, you look at like how they handled themselves this year with big games, didn't really show. They were close, but they ended up losing. What did they end up with their record? I mean, was it 8-4, 9-3? I mean, was it? I forget what they ended up with, Colorado.
Oh, they were like 8-4.
Yeah, like pretty much kind of right. Like they were projected to go undefeated and maybe have a case to be a top 10 or maybe challenge the bracket. Like, no, like in the end, you only could go so far.
And he had his jersey retired, man. Okay, his record was 13-12, never won a bowl game. And Colorado is rich with history. Okay, Cordell Stewart, I think Brian Westbrook played there. Salam won the Heisman. Salam won the Heisman over Kajana Carter in 94, 95.
What's his name? The guy who has his own team, his own show. Is it Joe Kraft? Is that his name on Fox?
2 years, yeah. Say that again.
Joel Klatt.
Yeah. What about him?
I'm saying, like, didn't he have like a lot of numbers and like records at Colorado too?
Yeah, I think Joel Klatt played. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Joel Klatt played for Colorado too. So Cordell Stewart, like Kid Cowboy just said, Cordell Stewart. It's a program that's rich in history, man. Like they Matt McChesney, who's on the Coach JV show, played at Colorado. He's another alum, played in the NFL for like 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that pissed them all off that he had his jersey retired. But it's just like prima donna. It's like the definition of a prima donna.
Right. But again, we just named all the quarterbacks on the Cleveland Browns. Like, we're talking about a team that barely sees one. Now they have like 100. I've never seen a more crowded quarterback room, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, like
it's crazy.
It's Alice in Wonderland. It's the Tea Party. Like, there's the Mad Hatter, there's the March Hare, there's any other crazy name you can throw out. But I'm saying, like, it seems like everyone's like thinking, like, is it their Marion birthday? I don't really know. I mean, it just, we're now talking about Shedeur Sanders, who got chosen behind Dylan Gabriel, under him. Like, Dylan Gabriel went before him, and now we're talking about him could be compared to Kenny Pickett. That is not a good look, no matter how you want to spin it. You're saying you want to be an NFL quarterback, and it's like you are now being compared to see if you're going to make the roster with Kenny Pickett. I mean, it's very obvious that Dylan Gabriel and Deshaun still have shots to like be the head quarterback. But again, you can talk about Shedeur Sanders and Kenny Pickett. I mean, it's just, I'm not saying it's laughable to be insulting,
it's crazy, man.
but it's insane. Like, I've never seen this kind of situation. If I am a wide receiver or if I'm anyone who can catch the ball, I am like so ticked off in the Cleveland team because it's just like
Yeah.
I've got so many men, I don't know who to go with. I mean,
Well, Jared, just to finish off here, and we'll get into Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
It's the Browns. All right.
Yes.
We know the Browns. All right. It's
Yeah.
laughable. That's right. Kid
it
Cowboy.
is.
All right. It's the Browns. Okay. They gave Deshaun Watson $250 million guaranteed. That's insane. All right. They didn't know about this massage stuff before, first of all. Okay. But Deshaun Watson was not good enough to give $250 million to, for one thing. I don't think that guy's going to come in and win you a Super Bowl. All right. He was good. But
He
and then you
was.
got Kenny Pickett. You have Dylan Gabriel. You have another quarterback. And you have Shedeur Sanders. One of those guys isn't making it. Dylan Gabriel's better than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, again, might not even make a team. Okay. Mel Kiper had him as the first pick. I mean, that whole back and forth with him and Reese Davis and the other guy, the one guy that's on there is really good, the ESPN. I forget his name. Very knowledgeable Monday Night Football guy. I mean, it's a joke, dude. It's insane. And then a mock, I think it's 247 had a mock for next year already. I've looked at mocks for next year. They have the Browns taking Drew Aller at number 2. God, it's insane, man. It's the Steelers, as shitty as this is right now with them, they will never be that bad. I don't think.
No.
Never.
No.
They'll never, that is laughable.
Yes.
It's insane. Just like Kid Cowboy said, it's insane. Dude, it's crazy. They need to do Hard Knocks with the Browns this year. Please, God, do Hard Knocks with the Browns. All right. Pretty much last subject here.
Yes, sir.
I've pretty much talked about everything. Bill Belichick, basically, Jared, I don't know how much you know about this, but Bill Belichick is dating Jordan Hudson. She's 24. He's like 74, 72, something. So, long story short, no, hold on. Jordan Hudson X. Yeah. All right. So basically, this girl, so this is her ex right here. This guy, I forget his name, but he's 64. He's old, no offense to people that are 64. That's old. Too old for a 24-year-old. All right. Okay. This girl is dating Bill Belichick. They, it just kind of came out of the blue that he was dating her. I don't think anybody really knew. But he was in an interview recently with CBS Sunday Morning, which apparently, for example, Dave Portnoy said he spends every Sunday morning watching CBS Sunday Morning because it's he said it's like his peaceful show to watch every Sunday morning. He said the people in there are very nice, but they interviewed him. He's on there with a ripped up shirt. His girlfriend was there, his publicist, basically. And there's this clip where, darn it, I wish I could just find a quick little thing.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
All right, so they were on this thing, and he's like, how'd you guys meet? And she's like, we're not talking about this. And it's so strange. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho,
Yeah,
That's
Victoria's Secret model, yeah.
Huh?
It's like Victoria's Secret model. I mean,
oh yeah, she's a good-looking girl. I'm just saying she looks like a psycho. Look at her right there.
Well, yeah.
But she was it made things really awkward. And then there was reports that UNC is concerned because he's the head coach there now. This is a horrible look on his part. All right. His son's wife took a shot at her. This girl, yeah, okay, so she said we're not talking about how we met. He didn't know that she put photos up of them, which are really weird. Like, let's see, like this stuff. All right, he's holding her up on his feet. He has one where he's got like a fishing pole and he's like pulling her out of the water. Like, this is my catch. Like this. Like, I caught my mermaid. That's Bill Belichick, bro. Look at that. And I guess you haven't heard any part of this, which is, kind of funny because now you're seeing it. Like, what, dude? What? This is Bill Belichick, dude. Look at that. And apparently he doesn't know that she puts this stuff up because he was shocked in that interview.
Dude, he's 74. I don't think he even knew what Instagram was.
He calls it Insta.
I mean, he probably thinks it's a dating app for old ladies. Instagram.
All right. So, and then in this interview, she's like, "We're not talking about this," which was like really weird.
Right.
All right. And it's just, dude, it's such an odd. And I've heard and I've listened and talked and seen so much stuff about it. Okay, this guy, do your job. Never talks to the media. His interview with CBS with his girlfriend there was just like his other interviews from before. He seems so lighthearted recently, being on Pat McAfee, being on with the Mannings, having a young girlfriend. Like, he just seems different. And then he has this interview, and it's really weird. All right. Okay, so, and I say this with, like, all due respect to, okay, so, like, Elon Musk, right? Changing the world. Has Starlink. He's coming up with robots. He has Tesla. Like, that guy is a genius. He's changing the world. And if you don't like him, that's too bad. You don't have to listen to the podcast. And he's doing what he's doing with Trump, which is needs done, like 100%. And needs done yesterday, for sure. Okay, Elon Musk is a geek, man. He's a nerd.
Right.
But he's changing the world. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Bill Belichick, I don't think ever played a sport. I don't know if he ever played a sport. He's a nerd, man. He didn't play football. He's a coach. He's an intellectual guy.
Right.
Right? Do you think this guy in his whole life, with the way he carries himself, ever had a girlfriend or a girl like this before? Probably not.
No.
All right. Okay, so this guy, an intellectual guy, a nerd, all of a sudden a girl like this comes along. All right, he's probably a bit love blind, I would say, right now. All right. So this guy, 74, is with a girl like this. I doubt he's ever even been in the realm of a girl that looks like this. Not because of anything he did. He was coaching. He was busy.
Right.
He didn't. So all of a sudden he's got a girl like this. And he's 74. How do you think he's feeling right now, man? This girl is, I'm picky when it comes to girls. She's a 10. Like, that girl is drop dead gorgeous.
Right.
She was a cheerleader. Hugh Hefner, yeah. Bill's father was the head coach of UNC too. Yeah, okay. Kid Cowboy. So, I mean, it's like one of those situations where at the end of the day, this guy seems to just be totally love blind by this girl she seems to be like off a rocker, but she's a 10. So a guy like this usually doesn't have a girl like this, especially at 74. You know what I mean? That's my point. So hopefully it doesn't like distract him to the point where it ruins his job at UNC. It's just a crazy story, man, because this guy is like a legend. You talk about the all-time greats. I forgot, like, Babe Ruth. Bill Belichick, man. The all-time greats. He's the greatest coach to ever live. And then you got Joe Paterno in college, and you got, like, UCLA basketball. What's his name? John Wooden. Yep. Like, these are names. It's Bill Belichick, man. And this kind of stuff is happening. It's kind of crazy. You wouldn't think he would let something like this happen, but it seems like he is. You know, he seems like totally love blind right now, and it's kind of funny, you know?
Hey, some of us reach puberty at different ages. I mean, maybe it's I can't really explain that, but I mean, science, nature, we we all feel like things happen when they're supposed to. So who knows, dude?
I mean, look at Elon Musk, man. Like he just had another child with this one girl. I think she's like a conservative, whatever, talk show host or whatever. I mean, he has like a ton of kids at this point, I believe, and most of them are pretty good looking girls. You know, again, like this guy, unless he is who he is, probably that isn't going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, he looks like Fred Flintstone. I mean, there's not really that many good features.
Yeah. And same with Bill, man. Look at him, dude. Like this guy looks like he hates everybody pretty much all the time. That's how he looks.
Right.
I mean, here he doesn't. He looks pretty happy here, you know, but like it's funny. And when his when her ex was dating her, she was like 19 or 20.
Yes.
And this guy's 64. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think they start because they've been dating for what, 5 years? She's 24. Pretty sure, like the math that I saw, he started dating her when she was like 19 or 20. Which means at the earliest age, he was like 66.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Listen,
I mean,
money and reputation. Dude, this is not new. I mean, I'm just saying we've heard stories from medieval times where kings have married infants. I mean, we've heard it's just titles, dude. It's just really what it comes down to. It's like, hi, I'm this person. Who are you? I have this much money. I don't care who you are. You have a lot of money. So I'm 108. Who cares? Is it million? Is 108 million? I mean, as long as that's attached to you, that really is all what it comes from. But it's just power. I mean, he didn't have the time. He was too busy cheating and winning championships, all those years, and now he has time to find that. I mean, I'm just saying that wild oat is probably about. It's close to disintegrating at this point, but hey, if he still has the oat, sow it. I don't really. That's pretty much what it is. I
mean, what's the odds that that this type of what's the odds that this type of guy would ever have a girl like that? Like that's just okay. So this is the first one right here, Anna Nicole Smith.
Right.
She was a really good looking girl.
Yes.
And she dated this guy. Like this guy is, my God, he's, no offense to this guy. He looks so old.
Yeah, it's the Crypt Keeper. I get it,
bro. Huh?
I said it's the Crypt Keeper. I get it.
It's insane, man. Like that. She was the first one, Anna Nicole Smith, to do that. That was like, that everyone knew about. I mean, it's like, it's just a crazy story, man, because it's Bill Belichick, and he's like, he's doing this now, and he's like basically being like, escorted around by this girl, like a horse with a carrot, like just dangling the carrot in front. Like, it's like, my goodness, if this guy is that far gone with this girl and he's a head coach of a college. Jared, what do you think? Honestly, man, this is another thing they talked about on the Coach JB show. Dude, he's 74, 72, whatever. He's got this good looking girlfriend, 24. He's around 100 jacked up college football players, testosterone to the max. That is not a good situation.
But I know that we want to try to find any moral grounds in life. I think that it's important for you to know the difference between reality and just plain Matrix stuff, and I feel like, yes, this is situation like only can happen in the Matrix, where everything is slowed down and it's all backwards. Only the greatest mathematicians on earth could probably figure out the formula for how this occurs. Yes, it's a very listen, you're talking about a guy who has a reputation of always having greatness, and clearly that is happening now in another way. I just, in the sense, like, dang, dude, good for you. Or I don't know where it all happened, but yeah, I do understand the confusion. But again, I nothing baffles me anymore, to be honest. I mean, between the news and, again, you think of stories like this, it's like, yeah, why not? I mean, elephants can be kittens, they could be pets. I mean, why not? Just start throwing about every other scenario you can think of. Like, cars can, eat groceries. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Not the
you try to
craziest
find
thing
any
we've ever
other
heard of.
thing that you can think that's bizarre and out there. No, it's not going to surprise me anymore. No, like,
No, it's not the craziest thing we've ever heard of.
no.
But the person that it's doing it, though. It's just like, man, you wouldn't think of that. You wouldn't think of that at all.
Right. No.
But anyway, Jared, I think that's it for tonight. That's all the topics I have. We should do this more often, man. Just come on here and talk.
Yes, I do enjoy her, bud.
But yeah, come football season, we'll be doing Penn State stuff together again.
Amen, bud.
Yeah. If you guys,
and you know
want
what? It's
Jared
going to
to
be
do his
great football stuff. That's the thing. It's going to be great stuff. I am not going to have any issues whatsoever. Every time we come on here, we're going to have some good old times. We're not going to have any problems with decision making. We're not going to say, hey, Ohio State's crap. To hell with it. We're going to be better than Ohio State. We're going to be better than Michigan, because we're just going to be the best team in the entire nation. And we're going to win it all. Like, I'm sorry, but that is really my attitude when it comes to it. There's not going to be a problem next year. This Summit season, it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. It will be.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be like, all we got to do is put up points. The defense will be fine, but we just got to put up points, man. Like, I don't care about Kotelnicki putting up so many points and then just leaving it go. Like, no, we need to, we just need to put up some points. But, dude, I moved some stuff around today, and like, I made it so that my background is my background again. There's nothing in between it, but there's like this sharp thing on the end of my bed, and it cut my leg. Hold on a second. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can't anymore.
Yeah.
Did I lose you, bud?
No.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I kicked my camera. But
okay.
All right. So I don't know if you can see this, but
yes, out kick.
Can you see? No, you can't see my leg, can you?
No, not the leg. No. Okay.
So there's like this huge cut on my leg. I just noticed it. I didn't feel it. But yeah, there's like this huge cut on my leg. So there's like this sharp piece of metal on the end of my bed, apparently.
Yay.
Like the bed frame, it like cut my leg. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. But
yes.
Anyway. Yeah, that happens all the time though. Like, you get a cut or something, and you're just like, I'll be fine, but definitely need to put some medicine on or something. But anyway, all right, guys. Jared, like I said, man, we'll have to do this more often. We could talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
There's really not much to say about the Steelers. Once Aaron Rodgers gets signed, we'll see. But
again, it's just really all about whatever Mike Tomlin feels like doing, and I just have to hope that maybe the players will finally catch wind and just like maybe win just because you want to win. I mean, I don't know why Mike Tomlin has to be the only deciding factor of being a winning culture, but it just seems like whatever he does, the entire organization will follow. So just please, Mike Tomlin, feel like winning and winning the way you're supposed to.
Yeah. By the way, Crunch Fitness, they're kind of helping people out that lost power in the local area.
Oh,
You know, they got charging stations there, places to sit, showers. So if you guys need help with that, you can go there. We lost power. It was a weird week. A lot of people lost power. Some people still don't have power after almost a week now. So yeah, if you need help with that, there are some businesses around here you can go to, like Crunch, but like Sheets, whatever you have to do to kind of get power and keep life normal. Crunch is offering that in State College. It's located there by the State College High School. So just wanted to throw that out there. But all right, Jared, thanks for coming on, man. We will see
Thanks,
you
bud.
guys sometime soon.
yeah.
And yeah, I'll keep doing the daily show, just different topics. So stay tuned, guys. But have a good night.
Hey, have a great night, guys.